cutting-edge fields are very, very important and relevant. It helps humanity to make progress and step forward. My name is Boglárka. I study computer science with AI specializations, and I'm from Hungary.
I'm Ken. I'm studying atmospheric sciences, and I'm from Japan.
My name is Daniel, and I'm studying cybersecurity, and I'm from Austria.
My name is Ibrahim. I'm studying computer science, specifically artificial intelligence, and I'm from Egypt.
My name's Linda. I'm a PhD student in electrical engineering, and I'm from Ecuador.
Ever since I was a small child, I was fascinated about the new technology from the US.
Whether it's from a big company or a new groundbreaking research finding, the US was always involved in producing cutting-edge technologies. So wanting to study cutting-edge fields in the US, it was a no-brainer.
There's a huge potential in AI and applying it in different fields of our lives. I've been doing research in applying artificial intelligence, machine learning-based tools and software to aid diagnosis and personalized medicine, ultimately.
Studying in the US has given me the freedom to choose what I want because of the breadth of options available. And for me personally, my care goes towards creatives and using AI to give them the best tools to achieve their vision.
I'm studying atmospheric sciences. I use numerical models, many different kinds of simulations to predict and quantify the change in the climate.
I'm really excited about the field of cybersecurity.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our today's sessions. We are very happy to have you today here. We are for our second webinar scheduled for March. My name is Alina, and Education USA Virtual is here to provide you interesting and helpful webinars with useful topics from participation with our institutions from the United States. And I would just like to remind you that Education USA Virtual is here to assist you with your application with useful information, tools, tips, tricks about your research process, about your application process, and all the steps you have to consider for your studies, either for undergraduate degree or postgraduate degree. And today, as we already have mentioned, we have two awesome speakers, and we'll talk about specifically undergraduate degree and specifically about how to make your choice, because we have a bunch of students who would come to our Education USA advisor confused about the process of application. And I think it's very important for our audience just to know on what they need specifically to pay attention when they would get their offer, when they would do their research process, and what they need just to pay attention when, making that choice. So we have Daniela Baban and we have Ita Duran. And I would just like you to introduce these two ladies. Maybe I would just give them the floor to just say a bit about themselves. They prepared for us the presentations, but I will start with Ita. So Ita, if you can just introduce yourself, and then we can just move to Daniela, and afterwards we can move to the presentations.
Sure. Hi, thank you, Alina, and hello to everyone who is watching either live or on the recorded version of this. I really appreciate your time and attention to the presentation. So as Lena said, I am Ita Duran. I work for the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. I have a doctorate in global health with a specialization on population health and comparative healthcare systems. And I will be talking to you about how to choose your healthcare program, which one is the right fit for you.
Perfect. Daniela.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daniela Baban-Hurl, and I am working at State University of New York, and the abbreviation of it is SUNY Cortland. I've worked at the university for over 13 years, and I primarily specialize in immigration and helping international students to come to the United States and get the best college experience based on their career preferences and social experience.
Awesome, which is very helpful for our students. So you guys have the option to submit your question. We will start with the presentation of these two wonderful ladies, and then we can switch to the Q&A session. We also have prepared some of the most popular questions, but I mean, it's going to be even more interesting if some of you have some related question to the presentations or to the topic. Okay, so the first presenter for us is going to be Ita. So Ita, I would just make sure to share the screen with the present.
Yeah, hi, Alina. I can't hear you anymore, so I don't know if you've said anything, but I hope my presentation is being shown. I would like to, so the question you asked me to address was, how do students choose the best healthcare program for them? So you can move on to the next slide. I want to give you a different angle than you might usually hear. I want to talk to you about translational gap. When we discover something in healthcare, in research, something that's revolutionary or disruptive, or just any kind of research that comes about, it takes an average of 17 years for the findings that we've discovered to actually be implemented as standard care around the world. The reason I talk to you about that is because this difference in what is being practiced and what is being taught, this translational gap, varies around the world, and it's not necessarily correlated with either GDP or at what level a country is developed or not developed. Even within the United States, you're going to have areas where that translational gap is much broader than in other places. And then you have places in the United States, and you can move on to the next slide. You have places in the United States where there is such a concentration of research institutions, institutions of higher education and learning in close proximity with teaching hospitals, institutions that actually implement the research that is being done, that you're going to find that the translational gap is much shorter. And why is this important to you, you may ask? Because where you learn dictates what you learn. And it is important to choose the right location. On the screen right now, you're looking at the Longwood Medical and Academic Area. If you take a little bit of time and Google this after this presentation, you're going to find that this area produces close to 20% of all research that is published in healthcare around the world. It is home to some of the most prestigious practicing institutions and clinical sites and research areas and biotech and pharmaceutical companies in the world. And MCPHS is located right in the middle. You can move on to the next slide. And this is important for you because the studies that you're going to be taking on are long studies, they're expensive studies, it's a huge time investment for you and a financial investment. And you want to be learning what is being practiced in healthcare in the 21st century. You want to be able to gain these skills that are necessary for you in the 21st century. Here you see on this slide some careers that you might not have thought of around healthcare. Of course, we always think of, you're either a doctor, a researcher, maybe a nurse or a pharmacist. There are many, many careers in health. But all of these careers today have been disrupted by new technologies, by new medical devices. Genetics has completely revolutionized the way we approach healthcare these days. With genetics, you need to know big data. You need to be fluent in how to manage, analyze big data. And as soon as we start talking about big data and analysis, we start talking about artificial intelligence. So you need to be aware of how artificial intelligence works. And don't be thinking, well, yeah, that's good. I'll learn my career in healthcare and then I'll look into AI. Actually, AI is here. AI is already being implemented in some of these top institutions that I've been talking about. And of course, there's that debate around artificial intelligence. How much do we want artificial intelligence to decide? Whether it's better or not, do we feel comfortable allowing artificial intelligence to make life and death decisions? Regardless of what your position is on that, it is important that when you start looking at healthcare programs, you can move on to the next slide, you start thinking about what are the career skills that are necessary for you to work in that industry of tomorrow. You're going to need to know healthcare technology and new systems. Genomics, anything around precision medicine. I'm sure you've heard about the CRISPR tool and how we are able to modify genes in order to lower the probability of certain pathologies to develop in a person. We talked about artificial intelligence, data science, and information management, but how about entrepreneurship, leadership, You need an institution that is going to help you network in the 21st century industry. We're going to talk about how an institution can support you as you enter the employment market. And if we're talking specifically about the United States, and Education USA can really help you in this area, then you also want to know about what are your opportunities for practicing what you learn after you graduate. Most programs will give you 1 year of optional practical training with your degree. It might be interesting for you to look at programs that can give you 3 years of optional practical training. Alina and her team can explain this much more, but there are programs, not all programs, but there are programs that can allow you to remain in the United States for 3 years, earning a salary, a United States salary, and practicing what you've learned before you return home. You can move on to the next slide. These are some samples of courses that are taught in the programs at MCPHS. But whatever program you choose, make sure that the program is forward-facing, future-facing, is teaching you what is being practiced today, what will be practiced tomorrow, what tools and skill sets you're going to need for tomorrow. And very importantly, how is this institution going to support you to enter the job market at home and to help you get that substantial time of practice in the United States with a 3-year OPT so that you can go back home and make an impact in the healthcare system where you live or elsewhere in the world. You can go to the next slide. So again, if you'd like more information, we can talk about healthcare. Again, this university is only about healthcare. It's Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. But thank you for listening. My name again is Ita Duran, and I'm open to questions.
Thank you so much, Ita. We can move to the questions closer to the end of the presentation of Daniela. Also, thank you so much for these wonderful insights. So now we can switch to the short presentation that Daniela also has made for us. So Daniela, I will give you the floor, and I will try to help you sharing your presentation.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you very much. So again, my name is Daniela and I work at State University of New York. And I'll talk briefly about my institution and some of the services that we provide and how best to help you choose an undergraduate program. So for instance, our university is considered more of liberal arts university. We are a state university and we offer over 40 different programs like art, biomedical sciences, business, community health. I wrote some of them so you could read them just to make it easier. And we offer also graduate programs, but we are specifically focusing today on the undergraduate programs. Next slide, please. And so Cortland is located in central New York. You can see the red dot on the map. We're right in the middle of the state. So we are about 3.5 hours from New York City. We are in a smaller city located. We are close to Niagara Falls, Philadelphia, and about 6 hours from Boston and Washington, D.C. And we were rated one of the safest campuses in New York State. So we take a lot of pride in student safety. If you don't mind going on the next slide, please. And Alina from Education USA provided us with questions, and I will respond to those questions. So at SUNY Cortland, international students receive a dedicated support through the international programs where I am the director, and we really strive to make sure you students have the best experience. So we pick, so I broke this down in 3 different options. So first part is how to choose the right program. You have to make sure that it aligns with your career goals. And so you'll be able to do internships that may be of interest to you. So there's a lot of programs that it's not really advertised that you could do internships, but many programs do have an internship as a requirement as part of the program. I do highly recommend that you look at universities and academic programs that do offer that opportunity that you can do an internship, which will give you experience working in the United States, which will really help you build your resume when you graduate. And in regards to staying compliant with your student visa, so all undergraduate students are required to take a minimum of 12 credits per semester. So that equals to 4 3-credit courses when they are on F1 students. Primarily, most students come to the United States on F1 visa. Some do come on J1, but generally, if you're coming for undergraduate degree, you'll be applying for F1 visa. So during that time, you're only permitted to take one online course. So when you're looking at programs and you see fully online programs, or another term is hybrid. Hybrid means 50-50, you take some online, some in person. Please know that as an F1 student, you're not permitted to do that, unfortunately. You can only take one online course per semester. So also consider work opportunities. If you like to get work experience, I highly recommend, especially students that come here for a full degree of 4 years, or if they transfer from another university from their home country, perhaps they have 2 or 2.5 years to study in the US. Look again at universities that offer various hands-on experience, internships, fellowships that you can get that work. Sometimes you can even do this on campus, so you don't have to travel. I know a lot of international students are concerned about having cars and transportation. You can often find a lot of these resources on your own campus. There's many faculties. Look for teaching assistants. There's many labs at universities where you could work. I would say majority of our international students work as tutors. They work at the different departments, the library. So there's many opportunities that you could get on your own campus. Next slide, please. So the second question that was brought up to me, so at SUNY Cortland, international students have many resources to help students choose the right academic program and plan for their future career. So one of the main things in the United States and at our university is you'll have an academic advisor, a dedicated academic advisor for your program that will help you and guide you throughout your academic career. So the professor will help you choose courses that are of interest to you, the courses that are required for your major, and to make sure that you graduate on time. This is very important. The other benefit about American education, you have an option of taking other courses. For instance, I've studied in Europe, and you sometimes are very focused on your specific major, and that's the only courses you can take. In the United States, you have liberal arts courses, part of general education system. And in general education system, you would take at least 10 different courses as part of a major that are from various fields. So you could be a biomedical sciences student, but you would still take a history course, or you would still take an art course. So you would have an option to learn something new. Another benefit about US education is if you're starting with one major and you don't like it, or it's just not what you envisioned it might be, you have an option of changing it without losing many courses, because you could transfer to another program. So this is something that you can keep in mind. You might be set on studying something, and for some reasons you don't like it or it doesn't work for you. You have the option of changing that program of study. Another important thing is that a lot of universities have a very robust career services. I strongly encourage students from day one to know where that office is and to work with them. Their job is to help students find internships. They help you write your resume or CV. They can help you set up your LinkedIn account. They do mock-up interviews. So many students might never, if they're 17, 18, just going to college, you've never had a job interview. So this office can help you do a mock-up interview, which really helps to prepare you, so you know what to expect from a job interview or an internship interview. At SUNY Cortland, we also offer a career development course, which allows students to take that during their first year of studies, which will help you just explore different career options. Again, if you're unsure what you might want to study, where you are set on a certain major, it's good to take this class just to see what else is out there. We also offer the Learning Center. So this is like a tutoring office, and they offer free tutoring to students in many different courses. And if, for example, you need help with one of the classes, you can just go to them and they will help you find a tutor, which again, it's all free to students. And my office that I work in, the International Programs Office, we provide many cultural events and make sure that we really celebrate our international students. Currently, we have over 25 different countries represented on our campus. And the other thing is I do all of the immigration work for our campus, and we want to make sure, as even Ida mentioned, about CPT and OPT. So CPT is curricular practical training that is done while students are still studying and getting their degree, which is another opportunity to get an internship. And OPT is optional practical training, which could be between 1 year or 3 years, depends on the program you're studying. And we're here to help you make sure you're compliant and do everything you're supposed to maintain your visa. Next slide, please. And my third question was, for international students, it's important to find a balance between studying what they really enjoy and gaining work experience that can help in their future career. So the first thing would be align with career goals. You have to pick a program that is, of course, of interest to you, but also make sure that you have various other opportunities. Know your work options that I just mentioned, that F1 visa allows you to do a CPT during your studies or OPT after graduation. Which again could be between 1 year or 3 years. And then working on campus. Many students don't realize that you can work on campus. So your F1 visa allows you to work up to 20 hours a week. Many of our students work on campus. It's a great opportunity to earn a little extra money, build connections with other departments and professors, and also gain experience, because you can put that experience on your resume that you have worked on campus. And some students work for 4 years while they're getting their undergraduate degree. That's quite a bit of work experience. And these people can write your recommendation letter when you're done. So when you apply for a job and they ask you for references or recommendation letters, those departments can provide that for you because you have had so much work experience on campus. And during the summer, students can work full-time. Meet with your academic advisor regularly. It's really important that you work with your academic advisor that has been assigned to you on your campus, and that you align all of your courses to make sure you graduate on time. Use all the campus resources. In the United States, the benefit is there's lots of different departments that can help you be successful. And we have student health services on campus, we have counseling office, we have tutoring office, again, mentioned the career services. There's very many social clubs and athletic clubs where students meet others and really expand in their academic career. And then another thing I always recommend to students, stay open-minded, try different classes in your first week. We have students that are trying skiing this winter just because it's something different. We're located 20 minutes from a ski resort, so students want to try that. Some students tried archery just because it's something different, and some students wanted to learn more about how to make film. So those are various opportunities for students to explore, and that's what college is for. It's to learn different aspects about yourself and about different career options that are available. Next, please. I want to thank everyone for listening to my presentation, and I'm really excited for everyone to hear and learn more about our institutions and about how to best choose their undergraduate education. I'm ready for questions as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Daniela, and thank you so much, Ita. So I think now we get to the most interesting part. Now we get to the Q&A session, which I think is the one that our students prefer most. So in case you guys have some questions about the presentation that our speakers today have presented to you, please submit that in the chat box. You know that you have this option. Otherwise, you would also be able, in case if you're watching us as a recording, to address your question afterwards. You have access to our email addresses, and also our speakers have inserted their emails. Okay, good. So we have prepared here 3 questions for both of our speakers, for each of them. So we will start with Ita. So Ita, I think as we are today specifically talking about the undergrads, and we are talking about how to make that choice for the international students considering an undergraduate degree at your institution, what are the unique advantages of studying in a health sciences field in the US, and how your institution supports them specifically?
That's a great question. Thank you for posing it, Alina. So it's a couple different things in that question. The first thing is, why do you want to study health sciences in the United States? I kind of touched upon that in my presentation, in that the United States is known, arguably, as the premier location in the world for healthcare research and, in many instances, healthcare practice. Now, there's excellent quality of care being provided around the world, but the United States very often, or I should say, there are areas and places and institutions in the United States that establish the standard of care. So if you are considering studying health sciences, be that medicine, be that biotech, be that life sciences, you want to be studying in an area that is going to be bringing you into the 21st century. And that is why the United States really is your first choice. And Education USA should be your first stop because, as Daniela mentioned, one of the great things about the United States education system is the liberty and the freedom that you have in choosing your path. Because you start in a career in one area, or I'm sorry, if you start your studies in one area, doesn't mean that that's where you're locked into for the rest of your academic career. You can start in one area and sort of figure out who you are, figure out what you really know about the career, and then move on from there. The question about how do we support students through the admissions process, I'd like to repeat that the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences has for 200 years existed exclusively to work in the healthcare field. So my answers will always be within the healthcare field. If you are not a US citizen and you are considering health studies, there are many different parameters that are going to become either areas to address or maybe even obstacles in the way that you reach your goals. And you need to be in a place where where you're coming from is understood, what career you want to go back into is understood, as well as the challenges that not being a US citizen might bring upon your path while you're studying in the United States. And let me give you an example. As you know, medical schools in the United States accept very, very few international students or students who are not US citizens. That's something you need to know, and you need to know how to address it. You need to know how to have a strategy to improve your chances. If you are going to be working in another country, you need to know that certain healthcare careers, certain healthcare professions require licensure. And you need to understand that being licensed in the United States in that particular profession doesn't necessarily give you the right to practice in another country. So you will need to, and these considerations vary between professions and between countries. So it's important, very specifically, again, for the healthcare fields, if you want to be looking at a career in healthcare, it's important to be talking to people who know about comparative healthcare systems and healthcare education around the world. And this is how MCPHS supports international students from the very beginning to understand where you're coming from and where you want to go.
Great. Thank you so much, Ita, for this great response. I just wanted to also double check with you. When do you think is the right period for a student to address maybe to your institution about his or her applications for the undergraduate studies? So as we know, specifically for health sciences or specifically for medical degree, the students would need to follow some additional courses where they would just need to have an orientation on a specific subject, such as biology, such as chemistry, and how you recommend our students in what class or what year of their high school they can address to you, and the support they can get from you? When is it better to be asked?
Most universities will want to look at your grades before really understanding what your potential is and what the right fit for you is. At MCPHS, we're going to be looking at your science grades. I'm sure you're not surprised about that. What we want to know is, do you love biology? How good are you at chemistry? Did you make it through physics? These kinds of questions. And we want to know how you performed in these classes for a certain amount of time. So the information that we need really accumulates around your 11th grade, right? So 1 or 2 years before you're actually applying to university is a really good time to reach out to MCPHS and talk about the career that you're interested in. And don't be surprised, we're not going to be asking you, what do you want to study? We're going to be asking you, what do you want to be after you study? Because you have to understand that there are many different ways to get to the same goal, and your particular skill set, your capacity for work, your passions, where you're coming from, all of these things might change that path to reach the same goal. And it's good to start early to talk about that. So 11th grade, again, the equivalent of 11th grade is different in different countries, but what is the American 11th grade? Towards the second half of your 11th grade is a fantastic time to just start talking to universities. If it's about healthcare, start talking to MCPHS so that we can help guide you at least to ask the right questions.
Totally agree. Thank you so much. Then the next one, how your institution help international students adjusting to life in the US, both academically and culturally, as to ensure that they have the most of their undergraduate experience?
You know, Alina, that question is such an important question. And I know that you, working at Education USA, you live it every day. But sometimes students and families don't actually realize, right? We're talking with students who are coming from Europe, Eastern Europe, Central. And so you think, well, you know, Western countries, we're very similar. Actually, as you know very well, but students might not realize, there are very, very big differences, not only cultural differences, of course, language also, but the third criteria you might not think of is also academic differences. The way that Americans approach teaching, for example, is very different. The expectation that the American classroom will have of students is very different than what you might be used to in a Moldavian or Kazakhstan or Bulgarian classroom. And you need to know that, because if you're not aware of that, you might not understand why you're not getting as far as you want to get. So MCPHS has created the Early Start program. It brings in all freshmen who are not from the United States, for whom this is the very first time that they study in the United States. We bring them in 1 week early, and during that week, we give them free housing and food, and we provide a program that touches upon all of these areas. It touches upon not linguistics, you need to be good in English, but it touches upon cultural aspects, academic aspects, and social aspects. How do you get to know people in the United States? How do you talk to your professors? How do I send an email? These kinds of things. And very, very importantly, where do I get help? What are the different services in the United States? Where are they? We actually go to them and meet the people who can help you later on. It's called the Early Start Program. And I think that it's really important for you to look into it if you're thinking of coming to study at MCPHS.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I also think that each institution would also have their advisors and their counselors when the student would get on campus, and that's also very helpful. And the students need to know that they have to whom they can reach out. And in the process of selecting the university, maybe it's also good just to know to whom you might refer when you want, more assistance, or who might be your counselor or advisor, and that will also give you a better understanding of what you need to expect when you would start your life and your studies at that specific institution. Thank you so much. What are some key factors that international students should consider when evaluating health science programs, and maybe how you used to help them in this situation? I know you've mentioned already some of the key factors in your presentation, but maybe also would be good to mention here maybe some mistakes that the students would not know that those are mistakes, or maybe some advices that can be also helpful for them when they would do that choice.
Sure, thank you. Yes, I did mention them, and I don't want to repeat some of them, but I think there are really two that absolutely are worth repeating. The very first one is to work in healthcare, very often you need to go on to graduate programs. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. And to get into these graduate programs, sometimes it is important to have a little bit of experience before you start, and it improves your application, it makes you a better person, and it helps you improve your interview exponentially because you have something to say, you have a story, you have experiences. But beyond that, to be able to stay and work in the United States for 3 years, it is also a huge return on your investment. Salaries in the United States in healthcare are oftentimes exponentially higher than what it would be in your home country. For example, our pharmacy graduates are hired before they even graduate, actually, usually at 120, 130, 140,000 US dollars per year. So if you are a non-US citizen on an F1 visa and you're hired to do your OPT as a pharmacist in a community pharmacy, that means you will be making 3 years of $140,000 to help you pay back your tuition. So my first response is it's really important to look at programs which are STEM OPT extension eligible that allow you to stay in the United States to work for 3 years, work and practice 3 years. Second element is don't corner yourself. Don't put yourself very, very early into an area where you wouldn't be able to move out of. The reason you're coming to the United States is because you want options. So give yourself options. Be in undergraduate program that is going to allow you many different choices. At MCPHS, we have very first day you start a session called, or actually it's a semester-long course called Introduction to the Major. In that course, you meet people from various different professions who have studied what you're studying so that you are able to really get to know what the different options are as you progress in your studies. So second advice that I would give as you're working through what you want to do and what you want to study in the healthcare is try to study something that leaves all your options open. And we can help advise on that if you'd like.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Ita, for this wonderful advices. So now we'll move to the questions that we have for Daniela. So Daniela, these questions are going to be similar to those we already have addressed to Ita. So we just want to know the perspective of the institution that you are representing, and maybe you will also give us this important advice that the student might need now. So as an international student, how can one ensure that the undergraduate program they choose aligns with both their academic goals and visa requirements, which is actually your path and your domain, let's say, and what guidance does SUNY Cortland provide in this regard to the international students?
Of course, I'm happy to answer that. And so it depends what your interests are. So again, it's okay to try something different. It's okay you might have a career path set since you were younger and you think that this might be it, but try different courses, try different opportunities while you're on campus, get involved in different clubs. They're all free on campus, which is a great opportunity to meet other people, other students. And sometimes students take a certain path. For instance, we have a business economics major, but students want to learn more about finance, so they take a finance track, or they want to take an international studies track, so they can do international relations. It's okay, you don't have to necessarily just study that, but you can take a different track. So you can take an opportunity to take more courses, and you're still able to finish on time. If you're strategic, there's many options to finish courses on time. We offer summer classes, and many universities around the US offer that. So if you really want to speed up the process, for instance, I finished my undergraduate degree in 3 years because I was able to do this during the summer. I took online courses. So I highly recommend for you to look at all of these options, so you could try different things. When I was a student, I've tried, karate club, because I've never done this before. Why not, to learn something new? I've also, tried to learn how to ski. That's unfortunately not my thing, but I've tried to do that too. So I really believe it's important that while you're here, to take advantage of all of these opportunities, because when you come to an American college or university, you really have an option to try different things. So why not try it out?
Totally agree. And that's a great tip, by the way, because students, when they would do their research, they would just focus, on this academical things. They would not really focus on the other extracurricular activities they can also have on campus, which is a great reward. I mean, the university have such a great variety of different other activities they can practice. Great. The other question, what specific resources does SUNY Portland offer to help international students exploring different programs and find the best fit for their academic and career aspirations? As we know, SUNY Portland is a community college. Am I right?
No, we're a 4-year institution.
Okay,
and
and if you can just tell us more about what different programs they would consider maybe, and what they need to consider when choosing this best fit for their academic and career aspirations.
Of course. So it's SUNY Portland. We offer 45 undergraduate programs, and we offer over 40 graduate programs, so master's degree programs that we offer. So students have an option to transfer. So we have students that study at a community college. We are part of the State University of New York system. We are one of the biggest in the United States. We have 64 campuses around the New York State. So students often, when they attend a SUNY college, university, they can transfer 100%, and all of their courses would be transferred to any SUNYs in the New York State. So we often have students that attend a community college near us because it's a little bit cheaper, and I highly recommend to try it out, because you can get an associate's degree within 2 years or 18 months, depends how quickly you're studying, and then you can transfer to a 4-year institution. So this way you could get 2 diplomas. So you get an associate's degree diploma, and then you get a bachelor's degree diploma, and then you can pursue your graduate programs. If you do go to a community college, you can apply for OPT, for optional practical training, and you can work for a year. After that, you can go to another a 4-year degree like my university, and you can get another OPT, optional practical training. Again, it depends if it's a STEM program, part of science, technology, engineering, or math, then you can get a 3 years work permit, and then you can go to graduate school, and then you can get another work permit and to get work experience. So I know a lot of international students shy away from community college, but I recommend it, because even to try for a semester, it would really save you money. And you can take the same general education courses that most universities around the United States require, like history, psychology, art course. All of these courses are required to get an American degree. So why not try those out again at the community college? Since we are a traditional American campus, so everything is within 2-kilometer radius. Everything is like, we're big like a circle, and all of our residence halls and everything is located all together. Students can walk everywhere they need, but we also offer a bus where students can go from one area to another if they want. It's a free bus that runs around loop every 20 minutes. And again, there's many different courses students can take. For instance, like, we're one of the top institutions for education. So students that graduate from SUNY Portland, they're become teachers, and all of these opportunities like observation hours and internship and student teaching is all included, and our university helps set all that up for students. We have a sports management, which again, we're like one of the top programs in the US for that. So if you're interested in the management side of the sport, like how to manage a sports team or coaching or anything like that, we offer that program as well. It's incredible, and it's a required 1-semester internship. So all students get to work for a whole semester. Sometimes they get to work for 8 to 9 months. If they start from January, they can work all the way through August, they would fall under curricular practical training, CPT, and then they can apply for work permit after graduation. So again, this is really important that you look for a program that does offer those internships, and they do have a very strong support system. Some of the bigger universities in the United States that have over 20,000 students perhaps don't have the opportunity to help all of their students because of the staffing, and they cannot provide a dedicated, one-on-one meetings with students and really guide them to the process. They're available, and they do provide resources, but not the same as perhaps a medium-sized university. So if you're looking at universities that have between 7 to 11,000 students, it might be like a good range, because you get the opportunity to have a diverse faculty and staff to work with and various students, but you also have an opportunity to work with many administrators that can help you guide you through your process.
Thank you so much, Daniela. Actually, my next question was about internships, but I see you answered it in a very detailed way, so I think we'll not stop at that anymore. I am so thankful to you both, ladies, about the presentations that you have made and about your time allowing to us today. I hope that everyone that have watched us live had the opportunity to find something new, because that's why we are trying to do, all these webinars, and we do that on different topics. So in case if you have questions afterwards to our speakers, you have their emails in the presentations. You can also reach us by our email. You can find that on our website. We also encourage you to subscribe to our social media. We have a Telegram page. We have our website, our LinkedIn page. So there you can also get some more useful tips, some more useful articles that can help you and guide you through your process of research and of applications for studies in the United States. And I'm so thankful once again. I thank you for your time today, ladies, and I wish you so many good students. Yes, I hope that the ones that have watched us and will watch us after will also benefit from this useful information that you have provided to us today. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Bye, Alina, and thank you for everyone watching. Bye, Daniela.
Thank you very much, Ida. Very nice to meet you. And thank you, Alina.